Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're plunging into the fascinating and honestly sometimes pretty puzzling world of cryptocurrency. We're putting one specific digital asset under the microscope, the Blaze token.
Yeah, and we've gathered quite a bit of info. We looked at a major crypto data site, a financial news source, even one of those price prediction platforms. Our mission today is really to pull out the key takeaways, try to make sense of some genuinely conflicting information we found, and get a handle on what Blaze token actually is. Because the data around this one, well, it throws up some really interesting questions, a bit of a puzzle.
Okay, yeah, let's dive straight into that puzzle then. Because right away, our sources seem to present a little mystery, almost like a case of mistaken identity. We're looking at Blaze, but it seems like there are maybe a couple of different things going by that name, or similar names.
That's exactly right. So one source we saw, barchart.com, it mentions a Blaze stream and a Blaze L1 token pre-sale, something about igniting the future of streaming. So that sounds like a token with a pretty clear, practical job to do related to streaming services.
Right. But then the main place we're getting price data for Blaze token, BLZE. That's CoinMarketCap. Well, it describes something totally different. Nothing about streaming.
Precisely. Yeah, CoinMarketCap defines the Blaze we're focusing on here as a base native meme token. And here's the kicker. It explicitly says it has no utility, no roadmap, just fire. Which, really underlines how crucial it is to be super specific in the crypto world. Similar names can mean completely different projects. So just to be clear, for everyone listening for this deep dive, we are zeroing in on Blaze token. BLZE, the meme coin.
Okay, good clarification. So focusing just on the Blaze BLE meme token, this is where it gets really interesting, I think. What is it then? And what makes it stand out if its whole thing is no utility?
Well, according to CoinMarketCap, like we said, it's a base native meme token launched on the Base blockchain. And maybe just quickly for context, Base is one of Ethereum's newer layer 2 solutions. The whole point is faster, cheaper transactions compared to the main Ethereum network. As for Blaze itself, it's described as being inspired by the mythical fire dog, represents unstoppable energy, community-driven momentum, and the raw spirit of decentralized culture. And yeah, that defining line, no utility, no roadmap, just fire.
Huh. That's quite the statement, no utility.
It seems like a paradox, doesn't it? Because even without a traditional use case, it still seems to function in some way. So it's less about a practical job and more about what? Culture, community.
You've absolutely nailed it. It's positioned more as cultural asset, something born from, and I quote, the internet's love of memes, storytelling, and shared identity. It apparently thrives on community participation and visual branding. The goal is to be the fiery symbol of Base Chain's meme coin era. Yeah. So its use, if you want to call it that, isn't about running an app. It's about being part of a movement, a feeling. Okay, but could you break down what people actually do with it? If it has no utility, what are the listed uses?
Sure. So the source, CoinMarketCap, again, says BlazeE is used for 1, trading and speculation on decentralized exchanges, those peer-to-peer platforms without a middleman. 2, participating in community events, campaigns, and challenges. And 3, simply representing identity in alignment with base native meme coin culture. And it makes a point of saying no taxes, no central control, and no promises, just a transparent, fair launch and a growing army of holders fueling the flame.
Okay, so beyond those points, which, sound familiar for many meme coins, is there anything specific that sets this one apart?
Well, it really leans into its unique lore, this mythological fire dog thing, and its visual brand, apparently a fire-breathing Rottweiler. That's quite specific. It's also heavily emphasizing being purely base native, taking a minimalist approach focused just on community, culture, and the power of memetics. Other points they highlight. 100% launched on Base, community-owned and operated, fueled by art, memes, and narrative, and importantly, backed by locked liquidity and no transaction taxes.
Right, locked liquidity. And what about the supply? You mentioned fair launch. Does the token supply itself reflect that decentralized community vibe?
It seems intended to, yes. The total supply is a nice round 100 billion GALE ACE, but the crucial part here is that the entire supply is reportedly currently circulating. There's no vesting, no developer wallets, and no hidden allocations. That's key. It claims it was fairly deployed, aiming for an equitable start for everyone, no special treatment for insiders. Yeah. Plus, its contract is publicly verified, and that liquidity is locked for security, basically. Funds are held in smart contracts to try and prevent a rug pull scenario where developers drain the funds.
So, this whole thing is built on this unique identity, this meme, this narrative. no traditional roadmap, no obvious leader. So who actually created it? Who started this decentralized fire dog?
Well, the source says it's a decentralized, community-launched meme token, apparently created anonymously by some early adopters of the base chain. The idea was to represent the spirit of fire, fun, and freedom in crypto. The community supposedly operates without a core team. It's guided by collective creativity and cultural resonance. There's no official foundation, roadmap, or central authority. Its strength is meant to come purely from its decentralized nature and its viral community power. And you trade it on base native decentralized exchanges, like Uniswap on the Base network.
Okay, wow. The whole idea of the token driven purely by community and memes with zero stated utility is already pretty fascinating. It really makes you think about how value is created, doesn't it? But that leads directly to the next big question. If its value isn't tied to function, how is it valued? And this is where our sources really start telling different stories, like wildly different stories.
Indeed. This is where we hit those stark contrasts regarding Blaze token's actual value. The core puzzle, really.
Let's start with that crypto exchange, Bidget. What did their predictions show for Blazy?
Okay, so Bitget has this page, a Blaze token price prediction and forecast for 2025-2050. It sounds useful, right? But it starts with a massive disclaimer.
Yeah.
Basically, the price of this coin has not been updated or has stopped updating. The information on this page is for reference only. So right away, that's a huge grain of salt needed.
Reference only. Noted. And what does this reference prediction actually say?
Well, according to their model, the price of Blaze token is projected to hit exactly $0 in 2026. And that $0 prediction stays the same for every single year they list, right through 2025 up to 2050. Similarly, the cumulative ROI, always 0.00%. Even their detailed table, showing what happens if it grows by 1%, 10%, 100% of average growth, it still shows $0 for all years. And historically, they list year-over-year performance as minus 71.23% in 2022 and minus 99.22% in 2023. So, this source paints a very, very clear picture. Projected zero value. Flatline.
Wow. Okay, that's unambiguous. It may be based on old data, given the disclaimer. But then we look at CoinMarketCap, another major source, and it's like night and day. It shows a completely different, much more dynamic picture. It's almost like they're tracking two totally different things.
Exactly. It's a massive contrast. CoinMarketCap reports a current Blaze price as of when we pull the data of 0.003795. And get this, it says it's up 177.13% in the last 24 hours. It also lists a market cap of around $3.8 million and a 24-hour trading volume of nearly $1.9 million, which is apparently up 165.36%. So yeah, a world away from a static zero. Activity, volume, big percentage jumps.
Up 177%. That's huge. But then, it gets even weirder, maybe more confusing. When you look at the historical highs and lows on CoinMarketCap itself, right?
Oh yeah, this is where the internal data seems to contradict itself. It's really puzzling. So the all-time high for Blazers is listed as 0.0005199. This says this happened just 4 hours ago from when the source data was captured, June 26, 2025. The current price is shown as about 27% down from that peak. Okay, fine. But then look at the all-time low. It's given as 0.23028, so that's 6 cents. And supposedly happened 10 days ago, June 16th, 2025. And the current price, 0.0003795, is listed as being up over 12,000% from that all-time low.
Hang on, wait. The all-time low is $0.06. 6 cents. But the current price is a tiny fraction of a cent. How can the lowest price it ever was be thousands of times higher than the current price? That doesn't make sense. That's not just a puzzle.
Well, it's just wrong mathematically, isn't it? It absolutely is a contradiction.
Yeah.
The number listed for the all-time low, $0.063028, is massively higher than the current price, $0.0003795. It's not just a small typo. It points to a real challenge, I think, in how data gets aggregated and displayed, especially in the super fast-moving crypto space. Could be issues with how data is pulled from different exchanges. Maybe the token got relisted. Maybe it's just data integrity problems for a newer or less liquid asset. It's hard to say for sure without digging deeper, but it's a glaring inconsistency.
So just to recap the confusion, we have one source, Bitget, basically saying zero value, but our data might be old, and another, CoinMarketCap, showing lots of current trading, big gains, but also containing this really obvious internal contradiction about its own price history. What does this actually mean for someone trying to figure out what's going on with a token like Blaze?
Well, it hammers home the point about critical thinking, doesn't it? And cross-referencing. Always cross-reference. That Bitget source, remember, had that strong disclaimer. Should not be construed as financial advice. That's always a signal to be cautious. These discrepancies just highlight that you can rarely rely on a single source, especially in crypto. Things change so fast, data can get outdated or just plain misaligned really quickly, particularly for these community-driven tokens that aren't tied neatly to traditional financial numbers.
Okay, so we've taken this deep dive into the Blaze token. We've navigated its rather unique identity as a meme coin, built purely on fire dogs and community, and we've waded through some genuinely contradictory, head-scratching price data.
Yeah, it's been quite the journey. It definitely showed us this fascinating idea of a totally decentralized, community-run digital asset built entirely on story, on shared culture, zero traditional utility. It's like a pure experiment in using memes as a store of value almost. And crucially, it really underlined the huge differences you can find in how data gets presented across different platforms, even for the same asset. It demands, really, a high level of scrutiny from anyone trying to make sense of this market. It's not just a glitch. It points to a fundamental challenge in the decentralized world. There isn't always one single agreed-upon source of truth for data.
Which leaves us with a pretty big thought, I think. Considering how much a meme, a narrative, just sheer community spirit can seem to drive the perceived value of something like this, what does the future actually hold for these kinds of decentralized, utility-less tokens in the wider crypto landscape? Especially when the official data itself can be so inconsistent, so confusing. It really makes you question the nature of value itself in this digital age, doesn't it? Something for us all to think about.